Hi everybody, welcome to the show. Today we're talking about subjects. What subjects do you teach when you're homeschooling? Some people get really overwhelmed. We see this question all the time, like what subjects do I need to teach my kids? What am I required to teach? What do I got to do? So the first thing you need to know is that every area has different requirements for what subjects you need to teach your kids. So make sure that you check if you fall into an area that doesn't have requirements, such as ours in Ontario, where we don't have any requirements for what you teach in homeschooling. We can almost be overwhelmed because now we get full range of what we can teach. And for some people, even when you have like a list of requirements, there might be some that you want to go above and beyond on. But what do you actually teach? There's a couple things that you can teach in your homeschooling. And the great thing is if you live in an area like we do in Ontario, we have no requirements as to what we need to teach. We can really pick and choose what subjects are best for our kids, what subjects they're interested in, and really help them become the best that they can be in their certain subjects. So let's talk about some of the traditional subjects, because these are what a lot of people are talking about. And it can be really confusing what to teach when it comes to traditional subjects. So for example, we got math. I think most people understand math is probably something you would probably want to include in your homeschooling in some way, shape, or form. But then you get into things like language arts. Language arts is another very popular, most people teach language arts, but then it's the breaking it down. So some people teach just straight language arts and they kind of pick and choose and pull different things in. Other people like to break it down into specific areas. So they might do like a reading program. They might do like a spelling program. They might do a grammar program. Cursive writing is another thing that someone might include in their language arts program. Sometimes people like to take a core subject and break it down into several units or several sections and get individual workbooks, or buy a program that has individual workbooks for each of those topics. It's up to you, but those are things to think about. So we have language arts, we talked about math, science. You know, when it comes to science, you can follow curriculum, or you could follow the Ontario curriculum if you wanted to, or you can just pick what your kids are interested in. Find sciencey things to do with them. Social studies is another subject that can be broken down, and this one can be really confusing for people, especially in Ontario, which I can only really speak of as an Ontario teacher. In Ontario, social studies is a term given up to about grade 6. And it is kind of an all-encompassing term. When you're doing social studies, you're doing things like your community, the world, how things work together, stuff like that. But when you get into like grade 7 and up, then it gets broken down into other subjects such as history and geography. So depending on the age range of your kids, you might be teaching social studies, you might want to teach history and geography. And then a lot of people get overwhelmed thinking they need to teach history and geography for the whole year. So if you were in the public school system, I'll explain to you how teaching history and geography works. Basically, you would teach like the first half of the year, you would teach just history. The second half, you would teach just geography. And it's usually only like 2 30-minute blocks a week. So it's not like, if you're teaching at home, you can do it in a much smaller time frame. And also like you don't have to teach them at the same time. You can alternate between the two for your information, right? Do what you want with that, but that's kind of how they do it in the public school system. They don't teach both at the same time. Another subject that gets broken down into smaller bits would be arts. So in public school system, you have like dance, drama, music, and visual arts. Some people are gonna really jump onto one of those. You can teach all 4, you can teach 1, it's up to you. But those are different things you can teach in the arts and creativity. We think that's important, so we do a lot of visual arts, and we're starting to introduce a lot more music studies into our kids' lives, but that's up to you, right? And then there's phys ed and health and nutrition. That's another popular traditional subject to teach. Again, another popular traditional subject would be like Bible or religious studies. So those are kind of the popular traditional subjects to teach, and that's usually what people are asking about. But like I said, here in Ontario, we have a lot of choice as to like how much we're going to teach, what we're going to teach, and how we're going to do it. So, we might only do 1 month of history, 1 month of geography, and then we have a lot of other time to devote to other subjects. Even people who are kind of doing a very much more traditional approach to their subject choices Because you're homeschooling, you'll find that homeschooling doesn't take as long. If you're wondering why it doesn't take as long, I have a video on that, on how long does homeschooling take. We'll put the link up here. But homeschooling doesn't take as long as regular schooling. So you have other things that you can introduce into your homeschooling lives that can be just as educational and informative. So other things that you can do with your kids, life skills. A lot of people teach life skills as part of their like homeschooling curriculum. So life skills can be anything that you deem necessary and that your kids will need to be able to do by the time they're adults. So it can be anything from like just basic household chores, you know, folding laundry, cleaning the kitty litter box, doing dishes, maintaining a household. Those are all valuable life skills. But you can also go into depth into other subjects. For example, cooking. A lot of people think cooking is an important life skill, and how to cook healthy, nutritious meals is an important life skill. I would agree, considering I went to school with a girl who didn't know how to boil water when she went to university. That was fun. So you might want to include something like that. Like once a week, you're going to do like a cooking lesson with your kids or a baking lesson. Some people really like to include that in their homeschooling. Gardening and yard maintenance are other popular things people like to teach. That kind of goes along the lines with like homesteading and animal care. Some people are really into the homesteading lifestyle, and so they would consider things like how to plant a garden, how to take care of chickens, how to raise goats. They would consider those important parts of their homeschooling. And if that's you, that's great. And feel free to include those in your homeschooling. We often do gardening as part of our homeschooling once we get into like the summer months, and our kids love it. As your kids get a little bit older, you might want to consider things that are a little bit more handy. Car maintenance is a popular topic that a lot of people do with their kids, how to maintain a car or fix an engine, small engine repair, if that's something that you're into, some plumbing, electrical. I had a cousin who was really into electrical, wasn't homeschooled, but was really into electrical, and learned how to wire his basement, and he was like 14 years old. Again, it's really like what you're into and what your kids are into, and it's also like it's great to follow like what you're interested in and like sharing your knowledge with your kids. And then you get into like subjects that are even less traditional and less lifestyle based that your kids might just really love, and you might want to find a way to pull these subjects into your homeschooling. Things like coding. Coding is super popular right now. There's lots of coding classes and online classes. It's a great skill to have, and some kids really love it. Nature studies is a huge one right now. People love nature studies. We do a lot of nature studies during the summer around here. And it's just a great way to get kids involved and connected to nature. And some people do it all year round, and it's just like a major part of their homeschooling. Robotics is another popular subject that they teach with their kids. Again, if that's something you're interested in and they're interested in, why not? You could also do things like handicraft. I know a lot of people who are really into like handicrafts, which would be things like embroidery, knitting, sewing, kind of life skills, but also a little bit more about like a creative twist to them. Sometimes it's great to help your kids find a hobby or something that they can like make themselves, and that's really cool. And then I also know people who love to do like business entrepreneurship type things with their kids. So whether it is someone who is selling honey that they've, raised the bees and made the honey and are now selling it for a profit, which I do know someone whose teenage son is a beekeeper and sells honey as part of his homeschooling. Or your kids are trying to make a mini business of selling lemonade at the end of the road for a day. Whatever it is, entrepreneurial skills and business skills can be a really great thing to teach your kids, especially if you're a business person. Like, spread the knowledge, right? So this, again, I hope I didn't overwhelm you with your choices. I'm sure there's hundreds of other choices that you could pick with your kids. Basically, it comes down to picking things that your kids are going to A, need in life, and B, love learning about. And the thing is, like, for maybe right now your kids are super into coding and they're going to be into coding for the next 6 months, and then they might be over it, and then you might find another subject that you're going to put into that kind of learning block of your day. Don't feel overwhelmed. Like I said, we like to pick a couple core subjects. We do math and reading, math and language arts, and then we kind of just follow the kids with what they're interested in and finding things that we think they would be interested in and they would like. Don't fill your schedule so much that you just can't breathe, but also make sure that you have kind of a nice well-rounded education for your kids. So while picking academic subjects is all good and important, you might want to throw in some subjects that just make your kids happy. And because really that's what we're trying to do at the end of the day, is raise kids who are not only successful academically, but also who are happy, healthy, functioning adults when they leave the nest eventually, right? So follow their lead, pick things that they're interested in, things that are going to help them as they grow older, and let them help you pick subjects. I hope this was an informative video of subjects you can pick to teach your kids. If you like this video and other videos that we do, please subscribe and click the bell to get notifications. We put out a new video every Monday. Also, if you're new to homeschooling and you have more questions, you want more answers, we're here to help. We have a great book, How to Start Homeschooling When You Have No Idea Where to Start. It is available as a PDF download on our website, or you can even buy it from Amazon. Pretty cool, huh? Follow us on Instagram and Facebook, and thank you so much for watching. See you guys later. Bye.